This meeting is called to order. Good afternoon. Welcome to the Athens-Clarke County Board of Election and Voter Registration Meeting, regular monthly meeting. It is June the 11th, 2024, and it is 4:31 p.m. And we're at Dorothy Street in Athens, Georgia, 30601. The first order of business is there a motion to adopt the agenda?
So moved.
Do I hear a second?
Yeah, I'll second.
So it has been properly moved and second that we adopt the agenda. Any questions? Being none, all those in favor, say aye or by the raising of your hand.
Aye.
So the agenda has been adopted by all four members present. We have now approval of minutes. We have the minutes for May 14th for a regular meeting, May 21st for a special meeting, and May 24th for a special meeting. And we would take a few minutes to look over those. And after that, I'll entertain a motion to approve all three of those, and we can move forward.
Madam Chair, I move that we adopt the minutes from the May 14th regular meeting, May 21st special meeting, and May 24th special meeting.
Thank you. Do we have a second?
I'll second.
It has been moved, it has been recommended that we adopt or approve the minutes for May 14th, May 21st, May 24th, and second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. So it's unanimous. So those are approved, and we can set those to the side. Right now, we always have public comment. Yes.
Thanks for taking public comment. I'm Jacqueline Elsner, 315 Caldwell Circle. And I'm calling your attention that on July 9, our state election board at 8:30 in the morning will have a meeting. And that afternoon, y'all are having a regular meeting. But what I'm asking of you is to stay apprised of what they're going to discuss at 8:30 a.m. on July 9, because they're talking about the ability, writing new rules of the ability of all of our 159 county boards of elections, challenging the certification of any election if certain enough members, a majority of the Board of Election members, decide that they don't have, there's a legal word for it, sufficient information to verify that this county election is valid. And I mean, y'all conduct yourselves. You're number one, you're totally informed. You're totally involved in the way our county runs our elections. All five of you are entirely educated and committed to the integrity of Clarke County elections. And I cannot imagine y'all ever coming to one of these meetings at a certification saying, well, I just don't believe that it was valid. But that is what the state election board is going to consider at 8:30 on July 9th. Whether they are going to write some new rules that will allow county election boards. This, perhaps y'all could look into this. You're going to have certification meetings for this special election. You're going to have some meetings between now and your regular meeting of July 9th and look into it. See if you want to create a resolution to say this is the opinion of the Clarke County Board. State election board, they, y'all follow state election board rules and election law of the state of Georgia. So thank you, friends. Y'all aren't the problem.
Thank you, Ms. Allen.
You're welcome.
When you sign the sheet, we'll sign that a little later on. Are there any more comments? Other comments? Could you state your name and address, please? Sure. Thank you.
My name's Ross Watson and I live at 430 Sandstone Drive in Cedar Creek. Fortunately, it was one of the issues I wanted to talk about. I received an answer, a handout, because I was going around talking to different people about the number of registered voters that we had. And I was always told that it was 82 or in that range. And when I look at the handouts that was given out, that's not the registered voters, that's the potential registered voters. So I stand corrected. But many times in the conversation and some of the trainings I thought I must have got and see that was the actual number of voters. So I was glad to see that was published and I don't appreciate it. The other thing is, as you all know, I do have a hearing disability. Okay. And we're very fortunate that we've been able to change the arrangement here, but I'd just like to tell you how important that is to be able to have that consideration when you are talking to your public. You just don't know what it's like not to be able to look at someone and read their lips, even though you're wearing a hearing aid. Read people's lips, that's how you understand their words, okay? You hear the noise and hear the voice, and then your mind works together, okay? Charlotte, come on in. There's been some good changes for the hearing impaired in Athens-Clarke County. I talked to the library 3.5 years ago, and just this spring, they installed telecoil, which is a loop system in their auditorium. And they also installed it in the 5 classrooms that go down on one side of the library. So anybody that's wearing a hearing aid, if they go back to the people that they bought the hearing aid from, they can go in there and they can program your hearing aid. So when you walk into that room, you can automatically hear as if you're standing right in front of the person. And it's just a fantastic experience when you spend so much of your time trying to understand what's being said. So I know you can't do that here. I'm working with a gentleman to try to get changed over at City Hall. The chamber does not have that capability. They have the little battery pack, and you got to take your hearing aids out to go and be able to use it. That's good for people that don't have severe hearing, but for some of us that have ancestry issues, that doesn't help us. Okay, so if you can just arrange your rooms when you're talking, so people, the hearing impaired, can at least see your voice.
Time.
Oh, okay. Well, thank you.
Thank you. We appreciate that. Hey, now, we'll hear from Director Solsky with the director's report.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
I apologize for being late. I was at the radio station, hoping to get more activity from our voters. At close of yesterday, we only had 9 voters who had taken advantage of the, advanced voting hours. One at the elections office, which was one of our employees who was, represented by School District 2, and then 8 at Miriam Moore. So hoping that we get these ads out and that our community, those who are eligible to vote in School District 2 will take advantage of advanced voting during this time. So you have in front of you the activity report for the month of May. We have a total of 69,855 active voters, 12,627 inactive, to give us a total of 82,482 eligible voters. We had 163 cancellations, of which 161 are deceased voters, and then 2 who were removed for felony convictions. We have 14 ID requests that we issued in the month of May. And then, of course, our absentee ballots that were actually issued for the general primary election, which ended up being 821. And we had 815 that had been returned. According to our record. The next item is the Spanish translation project. We have communicated with the Center of Elections with the Secretary of State's office to inform them that the board agreed to have Spanish translated ballots on the ballot marking devices. And in order for us to do that, I would be receiving the state related ballot content to have it to be transmitted to our translator. They will send the ballot back to me, and the ballot proofing will consist of me and the translator going to the Secretary of State's office, Center for Elections, to actually view the ballot on the ballot marking device. That's part of the proofing process. And then I didn't realize it was going to take me having to travel to, that would be Cobb County, but that's the process, because the ballot will only be viewed on the ballot marking device. It would not be a PDF as it would be the paper ballots. So we have to go to the Center for Elections for that. That's something that we'll have to just put in our timeline for all elections if we continue with the Spanish translated ballot. And then we would sign off on the ballot, and then we would receive our ballot project. And then from that point, we will, and let me back up. So also part of that proofing process, the ballot audio would also be proofed during that time by the translator. And then we would test the ballot with our LNA process, me and the translator, as well as our election team over at the warehouse. So that's where we are now with the ballots. We will continue to have our documents and signs. We will continue with that translation project, but that's where we are. The next item is a general runoff election. We will have early tabulation of our absentee ballots that will begin at 2 p.m. on election day. And we will have our vote review panel and our duplication team available and on hand, ready to perform whatever duties they need to perform for that process. Canvassing and computation usually is advertised to begin the day after the election, but the day after the election is a holiday that we observe here in Clarke County for Juneteenth. So the office will be closed, but we will begin immediately election night as the paperwork is returned by the poll workers, the poll managers. So canvassing and computation is already set to be advertised, and it would take place immediately after the election at the warehouse. We will continue with our canvassing and computation by doing the reconciliation of our provisional ballots. We will start that on Thursday at the office, and that is also in our advertisement. The advanced voting, again, as I mentioned, is underway. It ends on Friday. We have 2 advanced voting locations available for our voters. At the elections office from 8 a.m. until 5 p.m. and at Miriam Moore from 9 a.m. until 5 p.m. Again, it ends on Friday. And we are asking you, item 3, for the board to start thinking of locations that you would like to have your retreat in August. And I ask that you would add that to your agenda for the next 2 meetings. The election, maybe the certification meeting to decide locations. And I provided you a list of locations that Chairman Raffle had sent me via email of some locations that I think he was, working on some locations for something else with UGA and sent those. So that is provided to you in your packets. And I've provided you information for possibilities for the polling location for 7A, which is currently at the Unitarian Universalist Worship Center. And so I will be glad to speak on that when you get to your agenda item on that. And at this time, let's see, do we have any open records requests that we did?
We had 3 open records requests for the month of May. 2 of those, you will only see the request portion in your package. That would really be way too many documents. So those were sent via the FTPS site. And did you want an update on absentee?
Yes, please.
On June 3rd, absentee team, we mailed out 59 ballots. They were part of rollovers from elderly and disabled. Friday was the last day to take new applications for this runoff. There were no new applications sent in. Secretary of State's office issued 4 UOCAVA runoff ballots for those eligible voters. And as of today, we've received 15 ballots back.
And if I might add as well, our staff has participated in some voter education and outreach events. Just this past Saturday, we were at the hot corner and was able to provide some election information to our community. We had buttons that were passed out, bottled water with a little advertisement for voting. And then this coming Friday, we will be at the library. And we will be joining the Caravan for Disability, Freedom, and Justice. And we will have, there's going to be some voter registration information available, election information. We're going to also have a display and a demo of the voting with disabilities on our ballot marking devices. And then on June 22nd, we will be at the AF Fest. Let you know that. And I believe that's all I have for update.
Thank you, Director Sosby. Members, do you have any questions?
I have a question for possible retreat locations. Some of these are hour and a half away. Would we just retreat that one day and drive back that evening?
That's for you guys to decide. If you wanted to do a 1.5 day or stay overnight, it's up to you. That's something you can.
Yeah, I
decide.
think that will be on the new business discussion of off-site meeting in July. And Mr. Kadir is going to present that to us, and then we can have a discussion about off-site or in town.
Madam Chair, what I was going to do was basically what the director did, was discuss this and ask her where we were at. So, yeah, we can have it later.
Yeah, we'll do it. We're on the agenda, but just trying to follow the agenda.
I do have a couple of questions, Madam.
Okay, yeah, go ahead.
At the state election board, when we are contacting them with regard to Spanish translation? Do they have a particular person who deals with additional languages, or how does it work? I'm just kind of curious.
They don't have any person specifically in their office for translation. We totally rely on our vendor, which is Ad Astra, the selected vendor that
Right.
you guys selected.
Right.
And according to them, the translator provides whatever dialect, because there's
Right.
multiple dialects of Spanish.
Right.
And so we rely totally on our vendor, and then we provide them with the documentation.
Now, when you said them, you're talking about the state
Secretary of
election.
State, yes, 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 yes.
So there is a person to contact for us for issues like that.
Just my ballot builder, and they only
Oh.
deal with the English version of the ballot. The
Where is-
Spanish version is totally our
And,
responsibility.
Okay. Where is our vendor located by the one we are working?
Excuse me,
Where is our vendor located? The one, is it in Atlanta?
I'm not sure.
But this SEB, they need you all to be there to look at the BMD. They cannot just send a card for us to upload it here.
Right.
Okay.
Not until the ballot's signed off.
And a question on the other matter is just, do you need the board to be there on the 18th for the return of the results? Because there's only going to be six of them. We are happy to be here, but only if you want us.
Only what you normally do.
Same thing.
I'm just gonna be in the training room and I'm gonna just go through their paperwork. What I normally do the day after the election, I'll just be doing it there. But you're welcome to come and look and see what I'm doing. So
But
you
not
can have
just
an
that.
idea what canvassing is.
Right, but when they come in and bring in the results at the end of the election, do you need us to be there to collect the statistics?
Absolutely, yes.
Yes.
Oh, we do? Okay,
Yes.
great.
Even though there's only 6 precincts coming back, we still have to have the same setup for them
That's
to come
true.
back to.
Okay, just wanted to make sure.
Yeah.
Thank you,
I
Madam
see a
Chair.
lot of hands going, yeah. Yeah.
Any other questions for Director Sosby? Okay, thank you, Director Sosby, again, thank you. I'm looking at our agenda and we do not have any old business. That's marvelous because some meetings I go to, they have about 10 items on old business. So you guys are moving it right along. Thank you. New business, discussion on change for November, possibility of relocating the polling place currently found at the Winterville Cultural Center. And that will be about 15 minutes. We'll hear from the staff.
So we received notification from the city of Winterville that tying their facility down for an entire week of advanced voting is not in their favor. So I'm asking the board to let us navigate our voters to use some of the other locations like Miriam Moore and the Tennis Center and remove the Winterville advanced voting location totally. That does not mean that the voters on election day will not still go to. We're not asking to remove that one, but we're asking to eliminate that location for advanced voting. And if I might add, I did bring some statistics with me from the past elections. In 2022 November election, that was the second time that we hosted advanced voting at Winterville. And we had 777 total voters at that location. And then Miriam Moore had 605 and the Tennis Center had 2,821. And it appears that in the March and May election this year, more voters had, the number of voters had grown at Miriam Moore and at the Tennis Center, and not too many had voted. So just a prime example, when I gave you those numbers for 2022, when you look at Miriam Moore having 262 and Winterville having 363, that difference kind of switched a little bit where there was 153 at Winterville and 128 at Miriam Moore. So it looks like the voters are shifting either to Miriam Moore or the Tennis Center, according to those statistics, because the tennis center had 443. And then in May, the tennis center had 628. The Winterville Culture Center had 180, and then Miriam Moore had 219. So they're growing and shifting in different directions. So wanted to bring that to your attention.
Would you like for us to have a discussion and vote on that today? Seems like something we need to get done fairly quickly.
I would think by the next board meeting, it needs to be decided. And I had a conversation with Chairman Rafflin. He said that he was okay with it. I don't know if he spoke that to you.
That's fine. That's fine.
Okay with
That's fine.
Us eliminating Winterview.
That's fine if, I'm sure we're all in agreement that the secretary can put that on the agenda for our next meeting.
I have a small question though.
Go ahead.
Director Sesby, would this be effective with the general election or after November?
With the general
Be
election.
effective for this? Okay, thank you. So on the July meeting agenda that would give us enough time to, if we were to proceed, to make necessary changes. Okay. I'll put it there. Thanks.
Hey, number 2 on new business is new precinct 7A polling place for November election. Again, staff.
Okay.
The director.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you. So we received notification from Unitarian Universalists. And it appears that a lot of the worship center policies are changing to include some kind of clause related to them providing public engagement that exceeds a certain number. And more than what it's been used for as far as worship services are concerned. So that's, this particular location expressed that they no longer want to provide such a service to our community, to serve as a polling location. So it led us to start looking at possibilities, potential locations, or is it something that needs to be revisited as far as the district lines are concerned for the precinct of 7A? So I reached out to our GIS department and requested a map of 7A. First, identifying if there are any churches or any county facilities that are within the district boundaries, and there aren't. As you see, there are more churches, right?
Yeah.
So I started thinking on the level of hybrid. So I looked at the adjoining precincts. You have 4B, 7B, and 6C. And I looked at the total number of active voters in each one and had a conversation with Lisa and the other area managers to determine what would be the possibility of increasing numbers at those polling locations if the board had agreed to splitting 7A and distributing those voters in one of those 3 locations. And the only scenario that would really work is if we transfer all of 7A voters to the library. Of course, it would make it a mega precinct, but we feel that the library could possibly support the needs of what we call a mega precinct. And that would be based on parking, the possibility of using all of the rooms where we don't use all the rooms at the library, but potentially being able to use all the rooms that might support the electrical capacity that we need for the printers, because that is an issue. We also, after speaking with Chairman Raffle, he brought up a conversation about Iris Place, which is now called Terabella. So we've reached out to Terabella. We're going to be having a meeting with them in the next, the 24th.
Where is that located?
Terabella is off of Epps Bridge Road.
Yeah, it's right on the, yeah.
And they seem to be like welcoming us there. My understanding is when you walk in the room, their community room is just right there at the door. So we're gonna visit with them. We're gonna also have their electrician with us to kind of survey the room to see what the electrical capacity will be needed if we had equipment there. And, but that is a possibility. It would not require anything but us changing those voters to that location. That's something that to get on the ball with, because September 6th is the deadline for us to make any changes for our polling locations. So my timeline, I'm thinking probably is, we've identified that we need to relocate this month. I'm thinking we probably, and I'm not sure, but the attorney's gonna have to help me with this, because it's not you moving a location because it was something that you decided on, but it's because the location just said they no longer want us. I think it's just ethical, and it is a good practice that you hold meetings to just let the community know that we're doing it. Have them come in and express any concerns of us moving it. I don't know, but that's something that they can help us with. But if we could start making those changes around late July, and then double checking our changes to make sure we have everybody moved that needs to be there. It shouldn't be too much to it, because we'll just be changing the location name. And then mail cards, like mid-August. And then we can start doing the other things that state law requires to do, where it's getting the notification in the paper for 2 consecutive weeks and having the changes posted in 3 places in the vicinity of that location, getting cards to the voters, you name it. But I think just being proactive and staying the course and making sure we have everything done by September 6th.
So you're saying, I'm understanding you, that all of 7A would now go to the library.
Or there's an or there.
Yes,
Or the old Iris place.
right.
Off the top of my head, I haven't had a day or so to think about this. I think moving everybody to the same location really is an advantage than trying to split them up and people wonder, well, I'm voting over here, where are you voting? And then they begin to have these questions among themselves, but I think if everybody goes and makes one move, that makes it simple for everybody,
Totally agree.
less confusion.
Yes.
And I would love if they could go to Iris Place. And because I do think that 7A needs their own polling place. If we have to go to the library, I don't have any qualms about it, but situationally, Iris Place is located in a good spot. It's just before you get to Timothy Road and Elks Bridge, if you're trying to go east or north. So, and it's a lot of parking. So I hope everything works out.
Yes. And we'll be able to update you at the July meeting. So from that point, I don't know, I'll definitely get with the attorneys and see if that falls in our time. But I'm pretty sure we'll have enough time if we have to have the 2 meetings. So
Yeah, I second what Ms. Phil said. Absolutely. Going one place, so we don't stand the chance of making errors. Sometimes a few homes can miss out and commissioners get upset and people get upset. Well, even if they aren't upset, they pretend to be upset. So I like that. And if this doesn't work out, then the library is a great backup for whatever reason.
Yeah.
Yeah, splitting into 3 sounds like splitting a headache. Okay.
Yeah, and I think before such a big election, it
Yeah.
would not be really the best thing to do to start this
Yeah, I
split,
agree.
because it's.
And it's right
just
off
too
a main
confusing.
road, like
It is.
F
It
Street.
is on
That
the
I
main
really
road.
like.
Yeah.
Madam Chair. I have a question.
Yes.
So I greatly appreciate, obviously, as we all do, the UUFA having had us for so long. Do we know, is it appropriate for us to talk about what the reason why they give a reason for discontinuing, or is that something best discussed
yeah,
privately or?
it's the cost of their insurance is gonna go up because they'll be hosting a large community engagement event that's different than them having a worship service.
Okay.
So it's a liability issue.
So that makes me wonder then, is this something that's gonna come up, or should we brace ourselves for other organizations that are not government buildings going the same way? And all the hard work we just spent the past year and a half doing
Probably,
these lines and.
probably churches, I'm sorry. Yeah,
No,
probably
that's what I was
churches.
worried about.
Yes, yes. And we only have one other church.
One other thing.
So yeah, that's something that,
Should, and I'm sure y'all are already a mile and a half ahead of me on this, but beyond what point? I don't want to be in a position of halfway through September, our other church have the same problem with their insurance reality and have to say, we can no longer host you in November, and we're scrambling with all these voters to put somewhere else. We just have to take that as it comes. Is that where we are with that?
maybe we need to have a conversation with our other church.
Yes.
Just to make sure
Yes.
we could do that.
Yeah.
We'll do that.
But quick question. Madam Chair.
Yes, go ahead.
I'd like to ask the manager's office, if it is just a financial issue with them. I have no idea how much the premium goes up. If we could get budget to just pay for that insurance for that day. I mean, it sounds simple, but something they can work out with their insurance company. Is that a possibility? Because that to me is a better solution than in September, some church decides we can't show up there.
Might be more to it.
I know,
Money.
that's what I'd like to find out.
Yeah, there is a little more to the Universalist church, there's a little more to it, but that's
Yes.
like the big picture of it.
Yeah, because if it's just a matter of writing a check, it might be a reasonable amount for one day's worth of liability. And it could be considered by our manager's office, so.
Well, I would defer to Director Sosby to do some sort of evaluation on it. Because what I'd be concerned about, it's not the money part or the budget part. We can find money in the budget, but I suspect that could create a precedent moving forward with other folks. But yeah, I would defer to Director Sosby to do some sort of evaluation if you guys wanted to do that.
Yes.
Probably the liability would be a large part of them wanting to move us out. You know, with their insurance increasing, insurance companies are always looking at liability.
If I could just jump in, I do want to point out, there's a statute related to compensation that could be provided to polling locations. And it specifically refers to providing a compensation for rent, heat, light, and janitorial services. There may be an argument that paying for insurance isn't appropriate under that statute, but we need to investigate that.
Thank you.
Any other questions?
And just procedurally then, would we want to discuss this in the next month? I forget I'm getting mixed up this with the item before. When would we like to make a decision on this?
Discuss it in July. September, you said is the last time we can make any changes.
Yes.
So should I put it back on the July agenda?
Yes.
So we
Old
need
business?
to-
Absolutely. Are there any other questions on that? Okay. Adam, just a minute. Before we go into our next discussion.
Thank you, Madam Chair.
Okay, so if you don't have anything further, Director Sosby? Okay, thank you. We're gonna have a discussion on off-site meeting in July. And Mr. Kadir has investigated this somewhat for us, so if you would like to start.
Well, let's continue with what Ms. Hill asked, the possibility of staying there. I guess it's included in the budget. We don't have a problem if we do want to stay there.
Right.
Okay, speaking personally, I'd actually make plans to visit the land of Rocky Raffle, but I'm going to cancel that. This is much more important than we visiting and checking out where Rocky grew up. I, between the board, very supportive of going away if we can, that's great, and if it doesn't work out, the botanical gardens is great for me. How do you all feel about it?
Did you get all that?
I did, verbatim. I'm curious, what day of the week are we thinking? Is it weekend or weekday?
No, it's a weekday,
Weekday.
Thursday as I recall.
Thursday.
I'm not sure that I'll be able to attend, but I can come to some part of the evening or something, but I won't be able to miss work for it. So
But the school
with the
has
election
started.
coming up, I get 3 personal days a year and I'll be taking one of them for the election. December, so maybe 2 for the election. So I may not be able to make it for it.
But you would be if
I
it
want to
wasn't
go.
count.
Oh, yes, I will not be able to miss work for it, most likely. Pencil me out for that. I want to be there. I love all these ideas. This is wonderful. But I don't know that I'll be able to, just for me.
No, but you cannot go for a longer period, but if it's just an evening like last
Sure.
time, then you are able to make it, right?
Absolutely, absolutely.
I think that takes out the last 5 options, leaves only. the
I hate to
first
do
one.
that though. Y'all, please go.
No,
Retreat. That'll be wonderful to disconnect and get away and just fellowship.
I think that's, it would be nice, yes, but I think that's something I can give up. I don't know how else
You know, I feel the same way. Certainly we want you there, Adam.
Yeah.
And, I've not been over to the botanical gardens, but I'm sure that they have parking and
Oh,
space
it's lovely.
sufficient.
Yes, absolutely,
And, so I would be in favor of that.
yeah.
I would love Sapelo though. That'd be so.
Oh, I know.
Oh, yeah, I know, right?
All those are great.
These are all beautiful
They're all-
places.
Yes, they are. Yes, get away.
Just remember that, Adam, things we do for you.
Sure enough now, sure enough. If y'all all are wanting to go, I think it'd be wonderful. And I'll make work what I can. I can maybe,
Sick that day.
it's true, I might come down with turkey pox or whatever. But, no, I guess sure enough, if it was, I could come up after work to Amicalola or the other parts that we have here and be there for at least dinner or something. And
It's not realistic.
it's possible. It's possible. I'm just saying that's my immediate concern is that, plus the who knows when I might have to.
But
miss.
can you make that commitment even for 4 hours by next meeting?
How's that?
Not next meeting, it's coming up soon.
Yeah.
Can you let the director know
Yeah, 2
as soon,
months.
I mean, we can discuss this over
Do you
email.
feel something coming on?
Do I feel something coming? Had we narrowed, I'm sorry, I had this written down somewhere. Had we narrowed down what range of dates? Beginning of August, end of August? Do we have a date? I'm sorry. Is there a date?
It's July something.
July, was it?
I have August on this paper.
This is August up here.
Is it?
It's, okay, but was it July?
If it's July, I'm all, let's
That's a
go.
whole different.
Let's go to Sapelo, let's
because
go.
I was wanting to ask, are we tied to August? Or are we tied to August, or could we possibly have it, the retreat
When
in
would we
July?
like to have it for you, Adam?
I go back
Maybe
to
not
work.
this year,
the
but
last
maybe
week of
next
July.
year.
Last week?
I go back to work probably July the 24th, 23rd.
Did we go before that?
But again, I'm sorry, this is not supposed to be about just my schedule. Like it's,
We want you to go.
I want to thank you.
Yeah.
It's a retreat, so I mean, one person missing
I thought I
takes a
written-
lot out of it.
It
I
does.
thought I written it
Yeah,
down.
especially since there are only 5 of us.
Right. Have we not penciled in a date? I'm sorry, what do you have on your calendar for the date we
I
accept?
thought it was July that week. What's going to be? Can't find
Are you gonna
it.
be out of town?
No, I'll make sure I'm there regardless of the date.
Okay.
So,
So do we want to have it locally at the Botanical Gardens this year? And all of us will be able to make it, even if we're having it in August. And perhaps prepare for next year to have it in July, taking into consideration everybody's schedule.
Is
Yeah.
there a reason we can't?
let's
have
just
it
do
this
that.
fall?
Yeah.
I
let's
won't
just
be
do
there
Botanical.
again. I mean, but I'm not important. I'm having eye surgery on the 21st. So I'm not gonna be feeling my way around.
I'll hold your hand.
I could probably drive over there.
You can put your foot down and fill that line in the middle of the
There
road.
we go.
I'm gonna use my extrasensory perception. and get
Oh, no.
What road is it? I think it's this one. Yeah, okay.
Let me look again. But you know, it doesn't matter. You know, if you guys can get in a trip, that's excellent, you know?
Wow.
Should we table this until the next meeting?
I think we need to decide.
We could revisit it when we check in, we have our meeting, is next Tuesday election day? Next Tuesday election? Right, when we meet at 4:30 that day to check in.
That's okay.
Maybe we'll check back in then.
Yeah.
I'll give you a tip.
Yes.
So we can table it to our next meeting.
Yeah, till next meeting,
Meeting.
yes. Not
Yeah,
monthly
Will
meeting.
be June,
but next
Did I
one.
say month?
No, I did.
Oh, okay.
so June the 18th. That's good.
Okay.
And you postpone your surgery.
I am not postponing my surgery. I'm already like this. Okay. You did a nerve, that's me, did a little both halves.
Just do
Yeah,
one.
we have it for 17th of July right now.
17th July,
I
okay.
wanted to do that.
I could not put it there, but okay. I can do that.
So we can do that. We're in agreement. We're gonna do that. Hey,
Yeah, my calendar had it for 17th July. That day.
okay, I could do 17th of July.
Yeah, I could go. So
I
that
could do
works.
that. What was I saying?
Oh, quick question to the director. Who's going to be moderating it this year? Joseph and company? Have you thought about it?
I haven't thought about it. It depends. What do
That
y'all?
was my main question.
I guess that's something you could discuss.
I really like Joseph,
Let me know what your goal is,
okay?
for this retreat. If you want a theme or, how, what do you want to get to
I'll
accomplish?
send you a couple of thoughts.
Then, yeah, and then
Okay.
we'll go from there. That.
Joseph and Mary Reed, Joseph and-
Yeah, they
We like them.
Yeah, they were excellent.
They were.
Yes.
At our last retreat. I really enjoyed it. And I thought we got some good things accomplished.
Yeah.
I really think they're great. Okay.
I
Let
think
them
we
know.
were able
Be
to
on
have more
standby.
input and more conversation than with the other retreat.
So we're all clear on that?
July 17th.
July 17th, okay. Now we'll have our announcements. Secretary Adams, would you read those for us, please?
I'll be happy to.
Thank you.
Tuesday, June the 18th is the last day to vote in the June runoff. 4:30 PM that day at 2555 Lexington Road will be our special meeting. Monday, June 24th at 2555 Lexington Road, we'll have a special meeting to certify the June 18th election. I want to pause there. I had a question about that. That's what we had decided last time? I listened to the meeting last time. It was a little strange because of
So
the
maybe
holiday.
Monday, I think at 3
So-
o'clock.
Monday, there we go, 3 o'clock. So 3 o'clock. So repeating that, Monday, June the 24th at 2555 Lexington Road at 3 PM. We'll have a special meeting to certify the results from the June 18 runoff election. And then Tuesday, July the 9th at 120 West Doherty Street, we'll have our July regular meeting.
Thank you, Secretary. I will now entertain a motion for an adjournment if there's no other business that we need to take care of,
So moved.
right?
Second.
Yes. So all in agreement that we adjourn?
Amen.
Aye.
All right, we are adjourned. Thank you all for coming.
Thank you.